And then, 6 seconds, Bruce stops. Fully. Completely. Like flipping a switch. One moment, motion. The next, stillness. No gradual deceleration. No wobble. He's just there, standing in a neutral stance, breathing calmly, as if nothing unusual just occurred. Chuck's smile is gone. Not replaced by frustration or anger, replaced by something quieter. Respect. Recognition. The kind of acknowledgement that comes when you realize someone knows something you don't. Not theoretically. Not academically. But in their bones. In their body. In the way they exist in space. The set continues around them. A crew member walks past with a clipboard. Someone laughs in the distance. Life hasn't paused for this moment. But for Chuck, everything has shifted. He stares at Bruce for a long beat. No words. Bruce doesn't gloat. Doesn't smile smugly. Doesn't wait for applause. He just stands there, calm, present, waiting to see if Chuck has questions. Chuck finally exhales. It's a slow, measured breath. Someone processing new information. He tilts his head slightly, not in disbelief, but in reassessment. He's replaying what he just saw, trying to map it onto what he knows about movement, about combat, about human capability. And he can't. Not fully. What Bruce just did doesn't fit neatly into the framework Chuck spent years building. It's not wrong. It's just different. It's a different set of principles. A different language of motion. Chuck nods. Once. Slow. Deliberate. It's not submission. It's acknowledgement. The kind of nod you give when someone shows you a piece of truth you didn't know existed. Bruce nods back. Equally slow. Equally deliberate. No triumph. Just mutual understanding. No one else on set knows this exchange just happened. No one saw the 6 seconds that redefined possibility for one of the toughest martial artists alive. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It didn't need to be. Because real mastery doesn't perform for crowds. It reveals itself in small moments, brief, undeniable, and without the need for applause. The set moves on. Someone calls Bruce over. He walks away, fluid and unhurried. Chuck watches him go, still processing. Still integrating. Still learning. What just happened? It's a question Chuck will think about for days. Maybe longer. Because what Bruce demonstrated wasn't just speed, it was control. It wasn't just fluidity, it was precision. It wasn't just movement, it was intention made visible. In those 6 seconds, Bruce didn't just prove he could move like that. He proved that the way Chuck, and most people, understood movement was incomplete. Not wrong. Just limited. And sometimes, the hardest truths to accept are the ones that expand your world instead of breaking it. Let's talk about what actually happened in those 6 seconds. Not the mythology. Not the legend. The mechanics. Bruce Lee didn't move like other martial artists because he didn't think like them. Most fighters are taught to generate power from a stable base. Plant your feet, rotate your hips, drive through the ground. It's effective. It works. It's been proven in countless fights across countless styles. But Bruce studied something else. He studied economy. How do you generate maximum result with minimum effort? How do you move in a way that gives your opponent nothing to read, nothing to anticipate, nothing to counter? His answer was to eliminate unnecessary motion. Most punches begin with a shift, a subtle weight transfer, a shoulder rotation, a hip turn. These are the tells. The small signals that trained fighters read instinctively. They see the wind-up before the punch. They feel the shift before the kick. Bruce removed the wind-up. He trained his body to initiate movement from a state of relaxed readiness, what he called emotional content in the physical sense. His strikes came from wherever his hands already were. No chambering. No pulling back. Just extension from stillness. That's what Chuck saw. Strikes that seemed to appear rather than travel. Movement that bypassed the traditional phases of setup, execution, and recovery. It looked impossible because it violated expectation. But it wasn't magic. It was years of obsessive refinement. Bruce spent hours in front of mirrors, analyzing his own motion frame by frame. He filmed himself, studied the footage, identified inefficiencies, and eliminated them. He treated his body like a machine that could be optimized, and he was relentless in that pursuit. He also borrowed from everywhere. Western boxing gave him footwork. Fencing gave him distance management. Dance gave him rhythm. He wasn't loyal to tradition, he was loyal to effectiveness. If something worked, he kept it. If it didn't, he discarded it, no matter how respected or ancient it was. That mindset was radical in the 1970s. Martial arts were still deeply traditional. Styles were sacred. Techniques were passed down unchanged for generations. To mix them, to modify them, to question them, that was borderline heresy. But Bruce didn't care about tradition. He cared about truth. And truth, to him, was what worked in the moment of actual contact. Everything else was decoration. So when Chuck Norris said, "You can't move like that," what he was really saying was, "That doesn't fit the model I know." And he was right. It didn't. Because Bruce had built a different model entirely. Chuck wasn't wrong to doubt. Doubt is healthy. Skepticism keeps you honest. But doubt has to be willing to update itself when new evidence appears. And in those 6 seconds, the evidence was undeniable. What makes this moment so powerful isn't that Bruce won some kind of contest. There was no contest. It wasn't about dominance or superiority. It was about demonstration. Bruce wasn't trying to prove Chuck wrong. He was offering a different perspective. A glimpse into a way of moving that most people never consider. And Chuck, to his credit, received it. He didn't double down. Didn't make excuses. Didn't dismiss what he'd seen just because it didn't fit his prior understanding. He adapted. That's the mark of a true martial artist. Not the inability to be surprised, but the willingness to learn when surprise arrives. That's rare. Most people, when confronted with something that challenges their worldview, resist. They dig in. They defend. They explain it away. It's a natural response. Our brains are built to protect the models we've constructed. Changing those models is uncomfortable. It feels like loss. But sometimes, loss is growth in disguise. Chuck lost his certainty that day. But he gained something more valuable. Perspective. The understanding that mastery isn't a destination. It's a horizon that keeps moving. And the moment you think you've arrived, you've stopped walking. If this moment resonated with you, tap the like button. Not for me, for the lesson. Because growth only happens when we're willing to let old beliefs make room for new ones. Let's step back from the set for a moment. Let's talk about why this moment matters beyond two martial artists on a film set in 1972. Because this isn't really a story about Bruce Lee's speed. It's a story about assumption.
Rome wasn't built in a day, but in 6 seconds, a worldview can collapse. It's 1972. The set of The Way of the Dragon is bathed in warm afternoon light, tucked away in a quiet corner of Hong Kong. Equipment hums softly in the background. Crew members move with practiced efficiency, adjusting cameras, securing cables, resetting props. The air smells faintly of dust and distant cigarette smoke. There's a rhythm to it, controlled chaos on the edge of creation. And at the center of it all stands Bruce Lee. He's not posing. He's not performing for anyone yet. He's simply moving, slow, deliberate stretches that ripple through his frame like water finding its path. His body is coiled and calm at the same time. Every shift of weight, every rotation of a joint, is intentional. It's not warming up. It's calibration. He's tuning an instrument only he can hear. A few feet away, Chuck Norris leans against a prop table, arms folded loosely across his chest. He's relaxed, confident. He's been a champion. He knows what real martial arts looks like. He's lived it, competed in it, won with it. And he respects Bruce. He does. But respect doesn't mean blind belief. Chuck watches Bruce move, and something about it doesn't sit right. It's too smooth, too theatrical, too choreographed. In the ring, in real combat, movements are sharper, more grounded. You don't float. You plant. You explode. You control the space with weight and timing, not flair. Bruce pivots lightly on one foot, shifts his hips, and his hand traces an arc through the air, fast, but flowing. It's beautiful to watch. Chuck won't deny that. But beautiful doesn't mean effective. He tilts his head slightly, the hint of a smile forming at the corner of his mouth. It's not mocking, it's more like friendly skepticism. The smile of someone who's seen a lot, and who knows the difference between cinema and combat. You can't move like that, Chuck says. It's not a challenge. Not really. It's casual. Observational. Almost a joke. Like pointing out that you can't actually fly just because you flap your arms fast enough. It's physics. It's reality. It's the truth as Chuck knows it. The set doesn't stop. No one gasps. A camera assistant adjusts a lens. A sound guy checks a connection. Life continues around them, unaware that a quiet moment of reckoning is forming. Bruce doesn't react right away. He doesn't snap back with a defense, doesn't lecture, doesn't argue. He simply stops moving, turns his head slowly toward Chuck, and meets his gaze. There's no anger in his eyes, no offense, just a calm, quiet certainty. "Watch," Bruce says. One word. That's all. No explanation. No breakdown of theory or technique. No lengthy justification. Just an invitation to witness. And Chuck, still smiling, still relaxed, nods. Sure. Why not? He's curious now. He likes Bruce. Respects him. But he also knows what works in the real world. And he's fairly certain what he's about to see is a performance, not proof. Bruce shifts his stance slightly. Not dramatically, just a subtle realignment of weight. His shoulders drop half an inch. His breathing steadies. His eyes lock onto a point in space just beyond Chuck, as if tracking something invisible that hasn't arrived yet. The crew is oblivious. Someone calls out a lighting cue. Another checks a script page. The world hums on. But between Bruce and Chuck, time compresses. It folds in on itself. The noise of the set fades into a dull murmur. The light dims at the edges. All that remains is this. Two men, one moment, and a question hanging in the air. Can a human being move like that? Chuck's smile is still there. Faint now. Waiting. Bruce doesn't announce himself. Doesn't count down. Doesn't prepare Chuck for what's coming. Because mastery doesn't perform on cue. It exists in the instant, fully formed, fully present, fully undeniable. And then it happens. 1 second, Bruce is standing. The next, he isn't. But it's not a jump. It's not a lunge. It's something else entirely. A blur of coordinated intention that seems to bypass the mechanics of normal human motion. His lead foot taps forward, weightless. His rear hip rotates with surgical precision. His torso coils and releases like a spring unloading energy it's been storing for years. In less than 2 seconds, Bruce closes the distance. But it's not the distance that stuns. It's how. His body moves in segments, each part arriving at a slightly different time, creating a ripple effect that feels impossible to track. His shoulders shift one direction while his hips drive another. His head stays centered, perfectly balanced, even as his limbs whip through space. Chuck's eyes widen slightly. Not fear, fascination. His brain is trying to catch up to what his eyes just registered. There's no gap. No telegraph. No wind-up. Bruce was there, and then suddenly he was here, and the transition between the two felt like it never happened. But Bruce isn't done. Before Chuck can process the first movement, Bruce shifts again, this time laterally, a sliding step that seems to defy friction. His feet barely leave the ground, yet he covers distance like his on wheels. His upper body stays eerily still, no bounce, no sway, just gliding precision. 3 seconds in. Chuck's smile falters. Not because he's intimidated, because he's realizing something profound. This isn't performance. This isn't theater. This is functionality dressed in elegance. Every movement Bruce makes is economical. No wasted energy. No excess motion. Just pure, distilled efficiency. And it's fast. Faster than Chuck anticipated. Faster than makes sense for something so controlled. Bruce snaps a hand forward, not a punch, just an extension. And it arrives in the space between them before Chuck's reflex to blink completes. Then Bruce pulls it back, resets, and does it again from a completely different angle. Same speed. Same precision. Different trajectory. It's like watching someone rewrite the rules of physics in real time. 4 seconds now. The set is still going about its business. No one's watching this except Chuck. No one else knows that in this sliver of time, something fundamental is shifting. If you've ever had a moment where something you believed to be true suddenly crumbled in front of you, quietly, undeniably, leave a comment. What changed for you? Bruce spins, and it's not a flashy spin. It's tight, compact, controlled. His center of gravity never rises. He doesn't lose balance. He rotates a full 180 degrees and lands exactly where he intended. Weight redistributed instantly, ready to move again in any direction. 5 seconds. Chuck's breathing has changed. He's not exhaling smoothly anymore. He's holding air in his chest, watching with the intensity of someone witnessing something they can't fully explain. His arms, once folded casually, have loosened. His posture has straightened. Bruce doesn't stop. He shifts backward now, not retreating, resetting. He creates space, then collapses it again in a single flowing motion. His footwork is silent. No slapping, no scraping, just smooth, gliding contact with the floor, as if he's moving on a cushion of air.